KGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we gotta talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, the go home show leading to Backlash this Saturday. And man, this was fucking good. And it's a lot we gotta discuss on here, and I'm looking forward to talking about. And let's not waste no time. So without further ado, let's dive right into it, man. So we had Jey Uso to kick off Monday Night Raw, and he coming through the crowd, and they was in Omaha, Nebraska. So you got the crowd doing the yeet dance, turning up and all that. You know, the usual. So he gets into the ring. Before he was to say what he had to say, you know, they chanted it one more time. So he's like, all right, cool. Gets right back on the ropes. They playing his theme music again, and he's just doing the yeet dance and all that stuff. So once it was done, then he proceeds to talk about everything that happened last week with Logan Paul and whatnot, and pretty much called him out to confront him. So as we expecting Logan Paul to be coming out, we end up getting Paul Heyman. So he comes out there and he gets into the ring, and Jey Uso let it be known straightforward, like, you have a lot of balls coming out here right now, especially what you did, you know, to my cousin and whatnot. And Paul Heyman proceeds to say, you know, you're trying to lecture me on betrayal and stuff like that. Pretty much, you know, trying to counter back of what Jay tried to say, knowing what he did as well. But Jay let it be known, like, you know, since the first time he came around, like, I try to warn both Roman and CM Punk about you. So Paul Heyman proceeds to say, well, you delivering warnings right now. You should have been delivering the warning to me. And he brings up about CM Punk and whatnot. And as he's trying to say that, the crowd is just, they're booing. Well, it was saying the CM Punk chants, and then went straight to booing and whatnot. So you know, like, Paul Heyman wasn't trying to have that whatsoever. So he proceeds to say, with my best friend, CM Punk, like, he put me in a position where he's trying to sabotage my relationship with Roman Reigns. And then he brings up, like, as we go in talking about Roman Reigns, you know, crowds calling, they saying OTC and stuff like that. And he just bringing up about, like, he had a dream, you know, about CM Punk and him facing adversities just to get to where he needed to get to, which is main eventing and whatnot. He said, when all that was going on, Roman was still playing football in high school and all that, and wrestling never crossed his mind until, you know, he decided, like, his father decided for him to, you know, be in a wrestling ring and, you know, become a wrestler, following his father and his uncle footsteps and whatnot. So he brings up about, you think that when my relationship with CM Punk and being in his corner at WrestleMania, you're upset about that, and you're thinking that I'm going to spill my secrets, like, you know, talking about him and Roman to CM Punk there and whatnot. And, you know, that's where Paul started to crash out and let him know that I helped build this bloodline for 5 years and whatnot. Then it says, when Roman was a stray big dog on the island of irrelevancy, that I came to pretty much lift him up, and he ended up becoming the tribal chief and whatnot, and started as being the ruler of WWE. They're talking about how they was champion for 1,000 and I forgot how many days, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And then it brings up about in match of WrestleMania that he lost and all that, where, you know, he took his eye off the ball and Cody beat him courtesy of Seth Rollins, pretty much being that distraction. And he's saying that once he lost that title and all, what did he do? He ended up up and leaving and left Paul Heyman by himself with Solo with Jacob Fatu. No, sorry, it was Solo, Jacob Fatu, the Tungans, and all that. And he pretty much got packed up at Madison Square Garden in front of his kids and all that, and just left him there high and dry. Then when he did make a return, he never came to check on Paul, make sure he was good. He went straight into getting his Ula Fowler back. And this is when Paul fucking loses it and y'all talking about betrayal about me and all that. When I stuck in his corner and been in from them highs and lows and all that stuff. But he never came back and cared. Similar to what Seth Rollins was talking about when he had that one-on-one with Paul Heyman in the middle of that ring. Leading up to their triple threat match at WrestleMania. Seth was pretty much saying everything that Paul was telling Jay in verbatim. And, you say you talking about betrayal, talking about all that stuff. Like, I did all this and just to get screwed over. And he told him, he says, screw you and tell the fans screw you too. So, this when Paul went in full crash out mode and was just upset about everything. Like, this man almost blew a gasket for crying out loud. So, Jay, asked him, like, you okay? Because he was about to, like, go insane, so to speak. And draw him and said that, let me ask you another question. Like, what do all of this has to do with me? So when Paul Heyman was saying that, we apologize. The whole CM Punk and Roman Reigns shit don't have to do with, had nothing to do with you. But the title is the reason why I'm here. Then it brings up about, with him having the World Heavyweight Championship, it comes with like power and control, something that he says Jay doesn't have, and brings up about with Jay, like, when it comes down to you, it's more than just the crowd yeeting and all that, and you putting on good performances in the ring. Like, there's other things that comes with it that you have to have that you don't, but Seth Rollins has, and said that for you saying that you won this title, but in this case for Seth Rollins, he has to have that title. So he pretty much let him know that with him getting Braun Breaker to be on their side, that was step one. Step two was to get that World Heavyweight Championship and whatnot, and let Jay know that Seth want to challenge him for that Heavyweight Championship anytime, any place, is on Jay to make that call. So Jay, of course, he ain't taking it lightly. He's pissed off. He was saying, and let it be known that you want to, Seth want to take this title from me. So you let him know we're going to do this tonight. And whatnot, and that'll be the main event match. So he let it be known, and that's when Paul Heyman got up out of there and whatnot. But I knew there was going to be more to this because that seemed too easy for him to accept that. So when we get backstage, we see Paul Heyman. He goes in the locker room with Seth and Braun Breaker's at, and he let it be known, like, it's done. Like I told you, he was going to fall for it. And here we are. And let him know you got your title match later on tonight. So Seth let it know, like, yeah, I know he was gonna fall for it and all that. So I just wanted you to know I told you so. So as this happening and Seth leaves out, get prepared for his match, you see Braun Breaker there, and you can hear under his breath saying, Seth Rollins having a World Heavyweight Championship match. And as it stopped there, and then you see Paul Heyman pretty much telling him that, Seth's the right person for this moment to become champion after, him pinning Roman Reigns and whatnot, and the triple threat match at WrestleMania, and all these other things going on. But look at Braun Breaker's facial expressions before Paul Heyman got into that, which makes me believe that he's going to potentially turn down the line. It's far from it, but I guarantee you, expect to see a Braun Breaker turn. And this is bound to happen like towards the tail end when they start to break up. But it was just that little piece there I had to pay attention to. And then after Paul Heyman was telling him everything was going on and stuff like that, then that's when, he was just feeding into it. Like, all right, cool. This is gonna be the game plan. So theirs was that. So moving on. We got a return in Sheamus and whatnot. He took on um Austin Theory, which we know Sheamus was gonna win that, without a doubt. And whatnot. It's just the whole setup of how Grayson Waller did everything when he brought it up to Adam Pearce, backstage and all. So, there was that. Nothing too crazy and all. And I heard that there was a promo segment um with Captain Kelly and Karrion Cross. And this is what I'm upset about because I feel like situations like this, when it comes to WWE, please, for the love of God, stop leaving out certain promos that superstars is cutting in the arena or whatever the case may be that may be important to a certain character change or whatever the case may be. Like, keep it in there and stop. Like, because when we on commercial break, we don't see none of that. But the overseas people that may have the ExpressVPN or whatever the case it is, they were able to see moments like this with no problem. So I'm upset, we had to deal with that. But I heard he got a crazy ass promo and, he was bringing up Killer Cross or something like that. Like, kind of hinted at it. And if that's the case, sign me up. I'm here for it. Because I feel like that can definitely be a character change for Karrion Cross to where he can be taken serious and people really want him to get pushed, to that next level. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it works. And if he do a character change, then I think he's gonna benefit from it. You can book that. The crowd's ready behind him. I want to see him succeed as well. So we'll see how things turns out and whatnot. So we saw Becky Lynch making her way towards the arena and whatnot. And, the crowd starts booing and whatnot. And she's saying that y'all booing me like for what? Like, I'm the victim here and all that. And this is pretty much after her confirming about her taking out Bayley and all that, and then inserting herself with Live Valkyria for them to win the women's tag team championships. And she's talking about how she the victim here, like nobody cared about Bayley because she's garbage and whatnot. And she even called Live Valkyria recycle. So, she's going off and all that, and of course she's gonna talk her shit. But Live Valkyria comes out there and she gives a very good promo too. And she brings up about Becky Lynch calling her recycle and whatnot. But, the difference is that she's the women's Intercontinental Champion. Then she goes in there, her and Becky had their back and forth and whatnot. And Becky brings up that how she's the greatest to ever do it. And not just me saying it, Sports Illustrated says that she's the greatest to ever do it too. And Lara Kyria brings up, like you saying that Sports Illustrated saying that you the greatest to ever do it and all. But, you went on and got the first women's NXT title or something like that. And they were on the main roster, be the women's SmackDown Women's Championship, like stuff like that, and then brings up about you did all those things, but you never was the first to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And she's saying, as long as I have this title around my waist, you're always going to be second to me. So, that was going to trigger Becky, and then they was going to have a battle with fisticuffs. And that's what happens. But I definitely love their interaction, and I believe they're going to deliver at Backlash, just like I said, I believe, last week. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, I like I said last week, I said Becky Lynch will beat Live Vicaria, and she becomes Women's Intercontinental Championship. Intercontinental Champion, excuse me. This might set up for Bayley to potentially come back, and I think this Becky Lynch gonna try to put Bayley over big time. So that's just my personal thought. We'll see how everything goes down and whatnot. So we had a match with Io Sky taking on Roxanne Perez, where they put on a very, very good match. I advise y'all to go check that out. Very good spots they had there. It was counting out the counters, especially towards the climax of the match where it was multiple counters to roll-ups. And, of course, Io had the upper hand there where she does the roll-up and went into a bridge form. Got the 1, 2, 3, ends up winning and all. And afterwards, we see Roxanne Perez extend a hand out to Io. So Io being, that good sport as always, sticks her hand out, shake it. And at that point, I thought Roxanne was going to either hit her on the knee because through the duration of the match, Io Sky was having little problems with her knee and shit like that. So that didn't happen, and she ends up walking out and whatnot. So, all right, cool. Everything was fine until she had a back turn, and out of nowhere, Julia came and attacked Io, and they started packing her up. Granted, Rhea is in Australia because they were promoting for WWE Crown Jewel coming out there to Perth, Australia later on in the year. So they proceeded to pack Io up and whatnot and stand tall to make just send a message that, we're nothing to mess around with. So there was that. But moving on, we had Adam Pearce in the middle of the ring, and he calls out Pat McAfee to come in the ring and Gunther to have their final face-off leading up to their match at Backlash. So they gets in there and all that, and Pat McAfee said, not Pat McAfee, Anna Pearce said, we're going to keep it professional and whatnot, and you're not going to put any hands on each other until that matchup happens. So, as everything going down, Gunther tried to speak and all, and they are just booing the shit out of him. So Pat McAfee took the time and said, I'm going to speak on it. And, he pretty much was giving his respect to Michael Cole and let him know that a guy who been in the business for almost 28 years and traveled on the road, for that long period of time would take only three breaks off, was saying that, you're going to give him his flowers and respect him for all that. Yeah, the crowd chanting Michael Cole and stuff. Then, he went on to give respect to Omaha, Nebraska, and, giving them their flowers and all. Then proceeds to talk about him and Gunther's passion for WWE or professional wrestling, put it that way. And talking about, how much, this means to them and all. Since they was younger and whatnot. And he brings up about Gunther losing his passion for wrestling in general. And he look at this as more of a job than having as something that he really cares and takes serious, so to speak. So at Pat McAfee said, every time I step foot in here, I look at this as, something that I let think and breathe and whatnot. And, just encouraging all the little kids that are growing up that wants to be a professional wrestler. This is how you do it. And he even called him an Australian asshole and whatnot, and pretty much saying that he's going to pack him up at Backlash. Then he brings up, he name dropped his whole name, Walter. And when I like how he inserted that, as he was cutting his promo, and then bring up that he felt like he had a shot to beat Gunther because of how much he takes his eye off the ball a lot, like he did it with Sammy and like he did it with Jay. And he felt like if that happens, I might have a shot. And even called Gunther soft. So you know that was a whole lot of like built up heat that Gunther had that he was ready to unleash. And he let it be known. Once Pat got everything off his chest, he says, your daughter had a birthday recently, right? And he was saying, I know that was a special moment for you. Come this Saturday, that's gonna be a special moment for me. And this is when I'm going to pretty much put you out your misery. He's saying that this match got me in a good mood. And once that bell ring, like there ain't gonna be nobody to stop me from pretty much taking your head, placing it in the mat, um, basically manhandling him and choking him out, so to speak. And this is a side of Gunther who was straight up like dead serious, who's looking to pretty much send Pat McAfee to the upper room. And he's not playing. And especially after the crowd, you hear the you tap out situation, you know they looking to pretty much, you know, let that be his energy to really do damage to Pat McAfee even more. So there's that. But I'm definitely looking forward to that match as well. I know it's going to be a death sentence for Pat. So everybody better write their obituary come Saturday because this is going to be insane. It's definitely going to be insane. So we got to get into the main event and whatnot. And that's Jey Uso taking on Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now keep in mind, Jey didn't even come through the crowd. He came through gorilla position, down the ramp and all that, which was shocking to me. So as the match was going on, they did a very good job on making us believe Seth had a chance on winning. You know, it was a bunch of counters. Both of them got good offense in and stuff like that. I love the spot where Jey was going for the spear that got countered into a pedigree. That was a very good spot. And, you know, leading towards the end of the match, you knew it was going to be interference and all, and that's what Braun Breaker did. So as that was happening and whatnot, and comes Sami Zayn music hits. So people thinking he's coming from the front, gorilla and whatnot, but nah, he came through the crowd and went on attack mode on Braun Breaker. And that's just happening. Seth is looking right there, and you know he not paying attention. Jey takes advantage of that and his own super kick, then go up, his the Uso splash, and try to pin him. And we think that's a 1, 2, we gonna do a 3 count. Seth kicks out. So now Sammy, he's like, damn, like you gotta be more to it. Like you gotta go finish him off. So as that's happening, Braun Breaker literally gets up and proceeds to spear the shit out of Sami Zayn yet again. And as it's happening, and then Jey, you know, him getting the offense and all that too, and he see this going on, decides to leave out of the ring, but Paul Heyman used this as an advantage to distract the referee. And as that was going on, of course, this was Braun Breaker's opportunity to go in and spear the shit out of Jey as well. So he hits him with a spear and puts him back in the ring. Seth, you know, he's going to look for that curb stomp, hits it, and right when you thought that he's about to go for the pin, in comes CM Punk. His music hits, he come out there with a chair, he gets in there, and he start whacking Seth Rollins with the chair and whatnot. And of course, that was going to be a disqualification as we anticipated. So, but how it happened and it was executed made you think that it could be a potential title change. But, you know, once CM Punk got in there and hit him with the chair and all that, you know, that was pretty much the writing on the wall for who was going to win. Then you see Braun Breaker trying to get in there. Seth hits him with a chair as well. Then it looks Seth was about to make a move on Punk until Punk turned around, tried to get him, and he slid out. And they got up out of there and whatnot. So, you know, you see him and Jey standing tall. Him, Jey, and Sammy standing tall in the ring and whatnot. So this is interesting. I definitely want to see where they're gonna go with this and all, and pretty much looking forward to it. And I guess when Raw went off air, when Jay was about to leave out and all that, he ends up getting attacked by Logan Paul, so to speak. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have their match down the line. I don't know when. It could probably be Backlash, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below if it's confirmed that they're gonna fight at Backlash. But all in all, this was a very good show. I definitely enjoyed it. For a go home show, it was great. It was very, very great. So comment down below. Let me know, what did you think about Monday Night Raw? What was your favorite moments, of the show and whatnot? And I appreciate your love and support as always, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so y'all get notified every time I drop content right here on this channel. I appreciate y'all always. Road to 200 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. Trust the process on anything that you do at life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace.